Yeah, I just spent a lot of money on an AMD graphics card. I received a package. So this is the Powercolor Red Dragon RX 6800 XT 16GB graphics card from AMD. I picked up this specific model for $550, which is a little bit of a markup where you can normally get 6800 XTs for about $500. But I'll talk about why I got this one specifically later on in the video. But many of you guys may know, I made a video why AMD cards are great, but I still got Nvidia. I knew AMD graphics cards were good value, and I was conflicted when I got an RTX 3080 that I would get a 6800 XT instead. And that's because of Nvidia features and stuff. If you look on the used market, 3080s are an amazing deal right now. There's been this growing fear with the RTX 3080. Is it actually a good investment? I'm showing you here Cyberpunk and the RT Ultra preset on the 3080 10GB graphics card. And one of the major selling points for Nvidia, and one of the reasons that I wanted to get it, was because of how it could ray trace. I wanted to at least try this feature out. But ray tracing uses more VRAM. And you can see in this game, the 1% lows do not look good on the 3080 because it's the VRAM. It's full. Is the 6800 XT with 16GB of VRAM a better investment in the long term? It's interesting to note as well, 6800 XTs go for more on the used market than RTX 3080s. That could represent the actual value of these cards for a long-term investment, because these cards are fast enough to play the latest games, but are they going to be able to play the latest games at, reasonable settings? Obviously, with you guys watching the content, supporting the channel, I can get a graphics card like this, and I just wanted to say thank you. Say hi to Kat real quick. This is Roxy, by the way. But in the PC at this moment, we have the RTX 3080. The TUF 3080 performs amazingly, and I have no complaints about the model, but that's what will be nice about testing a Powercolor GPU. No, we're just gonna ignore all that. The major reasons I was scared into getting this Nvidia graphics card, because I know that AMD presents really good value for gaming performance. It's because if you're spending a lot of money on a graphics card, I was spending $550 on the used market to get this 3080 at the time, and you wanna make sure you're going to be happy with it. And if you're a normal person, you're not a GPU reviewer, you don't have tons of graphics cards to test. Yes, you can look them up online, but you're still taking a gamble. You're still trying to see sacrificing the features on AMD that Nvidia does have is worth the compromise or not. So I got scared into getting an Nvidia graphics card because I wanted to try that ray tracing, because I wanted that DLSS and possibly that CUDA support and programs, because I do productivity programs. Like I use DaVinci Resolve and I wanted the NVENC encoders. AMD graphics cards are definitely more gaming focused. And one of the reasons why they don't have the best ray tracing performance as well is because ray tracing isn't really that practical right now. If the performance was equal, which brand would you go for? Does it really matter in the grand scheme of things? So here is the Red Dragon RX 6800 XT, and I haven't test fitted this. Oh my goodness, is this even gonna fit? I don't think it's in. I think the lock engaged. I can't reach the clip. It's in the slide. Oh my God, that was a journey. What people will say is like, all these reviewers, they recommend AMD GPUs, but then they don't use them. Why would a reviewer that has access to an RTX 4090, why wouldn't you use it and you have it sitting on your shelf right there? I don't really understand. That's like why in my rig, I use my RTX 3080. I'm just gonna use the fastest card I have. All right, no lights, because they give you a switch. Ooh. Bet many of you guys are like kicking me though, because it's like, oh, but you spent an extra $50 because this one is $550, whereas generally you can get 6800 XTs for around $500. Like no other one would have fit in my build. I would have loved to get the XFX one, but it's too big. My case can only support about 320 millimeters, and this is 310. You can see how close this gets Obviously got the RX 6800 XT in here. Surprisingly, in Cyberpunk, because of that VRAM, they're putting up very similar FPS. I wouldn't argue that ray tracing is playable on either of these GPUs, but that extra VRAM on the 6800 XT is definitely helping it. We're also seeing more and more of a trend of games wanting to use more VRAM than before. So as VRAM requirements start to increase, 6800 XT might age better than the 3080. And I don't think that surprises a lot of people. But yeah, temps on the card, it's on its silent mode, is at about 73 degrees with the side panel off and drawn around 250 watts, but I think that's a little inaccurate because these cards don't report power exactly right. I'm obviously going to be cooking up a much bigger video comparing the RTX 3080 to the 6800 XT to see which one is better in the long term, because VRAM is definitely a problem nowadays, because I feel like a lot of people are not comfortable with spending a large sum of money on a product where they don't know if it is the best, because clearly Nvidia has to be the best because everybody owns them, and in many ways I think they are the best because they got that CUDA support, they got that DLSS, the best ray tracing in the business. Would you be perfectly fine with getting an AMD GPU? Are the compromises really not a big deal? That's what I want to answer in the full next video. Thank you guys for supporting the channel, obviously, and y'all have a good one. This has been it for me. I'll see you in the bigger video. Peace. Also, a nice bonus with getting the 6800 XT right now is it comes with Starfield. And in fact, if you get any AMD GPU right now, you can get Starfield, which basically knocks the price down from $550 to $450 in this case. So expect Starfield testing from me. I'm excited.